All right, so good to be back, man. It's been a long time. I didn't make videos for well over, 6 days. This is highly not typical of me because sometimes I like to just keep things rolling, pumping out the content because pretty much every day I have to come to the warehouse, and because of that, I kind of see it like as long as I have to come to this warehouse, there's already content, there's already a video to be made. This is the idea, and this is the reason why you possibly must have seen that I was really making a lot of content, even though for one reason or the other, YouTube wasn't giving the videos the impression that it deserves. But that's not the topic. But I'm just coming out from a major, hiatus. Not so long, but sometimes the best time you want to make a video is when you are just coming out of an event. You pretty much have very clear, perspective. You've come out of the other side and you are pretty much like, wow, I made it through. That was tough. And sometimes the lessons that we learn in this process might just be helpful to somebody, still on the other side trying to cross over, and person is having a really rough time. And this is one of the reasons why it's also good to share content. If you have life situations that you feel comfortable with sharing with the world, go ahead, make a video about it. You never can tell who the person on the other side might be benefiting from that your experience, and talking about experience, the thing I have learned in the last 3 or 4 weeks is that the fact that you have decided to you be a hustler, you want to make your goals or your dreams come true, it doesn't make you immune from every other life situations or life processes. The fact that you are now, you have a full-time job, you are trying to hustle out a business on the side. It doesn't necessarily now mean that all your life situations, the frictions that you have with your partner, if you are married, or if you have, let's say, a girlfriend or a wife, or vice versa, or if you have kids, or if you have relationships here and there, you have business relationships. The fact that you do no longer have time for yourself, as a fallout of the choices that you have made. If you have decided that, look, I'm going to have a full-time job and the little time that is left, I'm going to use it to hustle out my business, to make it, work, to do what I have to do. Perhaps take up an additional study that's going to make you that person that's able to do the new goal that you want to take on. If that is the actions or the things that you decide to do, the fact that you no longer have time does not now make you immune from life challenges. Your car will still suddenly wake up and be broken. You will still wake up and not have money in your account, and you have to figure out how you have to make payments that are due. You're still going to have this friction at home with your wife, your girlfriend. You're still going to have, life challenges. Sometimes you're going to be fall sick. You're still going to, have fever. You're going to have headache, things here and there to slow you down. But the ability for you to go through all these challenges and still come out strong and say, yes, it doesn't matter where I left this goal, I'm going to pick it up and keep running with it. That is a big thing. A lot of people cannot rebound. And from my experience, being in this game for quite a long time, your ability to rebound after a major crisis is one thing that's going to determine whether you're going to achieve your goal or not. Some people, a little bit of a life shake-up comes in and they are just not able to come back, to where they stopped. It's just going to wipe them out, and that's the end. The goals, the dreams, the aspirations that they have will be cut off, and pretty much it's game over. But for some people, especially those that have the character, of being able to rebound after a major life event, guy, just keep doing what you are doing. You might not be seeing any results right now. You might be thinking that you are pretty much wasting your time, because if you are trying to be self-sufficient, to be an entrepreneur, one of the major criticism points that you're going to be having is people going to be telling you, you are wasting your time. This is not going to work. You're wasting your time. Go do something else. Look at how the person, the person on the other side is doing. People are succeeding in this area. Why are you not doing it? Give up whatever you are doing. Do something else. This is going to be the major, for 99% of the time, this is going to be the crisis you're going to be having. And you're going to be having to explain yourself. You're going to be having to explain why it might take a very long time for whoever cares to see the results that you are trying to build. It might take a very long time. You're going to explain yourself. And at some point, they might seem to understand you, but other times You just gotta keep re-explaining yourself, and it's gonna also come to the point you say to yourself, "To hell with it! I do not care what anybody thinks. I'm just gonna do what I have to do." Of course, these are different phases of this entrepreneurship thing, and you are gonna pass through all these stages. So, your ability to rebound or to bounce back to your normal, your equilibrium state, that's going to determine a lot. If you are somebody that's like trying to hustle at things and it's going to take like 10 years for you, and a life situation comes in, boom, pushes you down, and you stay at this point on the ground for so long such that you are never able to come back to this point of equilibrium, it's going to be very, very hard for you to achieve your goals. But for some other people, you are trying to pursue something, you are moving at this, at this level, and something hits you, boom, you fall down, and after a few days you tell yourself, man, I'm going to stand up and do it again, keep trying. You are ultimately going to achieve your dreams if you just don't stop trying. That is exactly what I have learned. Of course, I may not be using the words you are kind of used to, this self-help or development gurus, terminologies, but it's exactly what I am saying. And if you are sitting right there, I kind of imagine that you understand exactly what I am talking about. Life challenges are a lot. They are just a lot. There are myriads of them. There are health challenges, there are relationship challenges, financial challenges, business challenges. You are not immune to these things, because this is some lie that has been kind of snuck into the whole discussion. If you are trying to be self-sufficient, you are trying to be an entrepreneur, nobody tells you that you are going to face these things. Because if you are told, the guru telling you these things pretty much wants you to buy a program or a course. If they tell you that this is challenging, you are pretty much not going to buy that program. And this is exactly a marketing technique. Nobody wants to tell you that. People just feel like, okay, you're an adult. Of course, I'm not hating on marketing as a tool in business. This is what it is, all right? But sometimes when you go through these things, you might want to do the people on the other side of service by just at least mentioning the fact that, yes, this thing might be difficult. You trying to build a business might put a lot of stress on your relationship. You trying to build a business might put a lot of stress on your health. You trying to build a business might put a lot of strain on your time, on your personal health, on everything. And sometimes you do it, you might feel that you are failing. People around you might feel like you have given up on them. People might even call you selfish. But then I don't know how to explain it, but it's what it is. It is just part of the process. Keep doing what you are doing as long as you see what you are doing as something that's good for the world, something that's also a kind of a service that you are rendering to humanity. It might be that you make money in the process, might also be that for a very long time you have to actually fund the process. But if you see, yourself as doing something very tangible for the world, keep doing it. And whatever your goal is, if your goal is to make a lot of money out of it, your goal is to make, create a lot of awareness, your goal is to help people, from their degenerate lifestyle. If that is your goal, you are ultimately going to get it. And sometimes it might be a little tricky, to navigate all these murky waters, these different challenges. But if you have done it, you are going to be proud of yourself, going to be glad you did. And if you are a reseller, because if you are subscribed to this channel, first of all, I want to imagine that you are somebody that kind of loves business, you are a reseller at some point. It also applies to your reselling business. You set out to resell stuff, you're going to have a lot of challenges. It's just coded like that. The universe has so coded like that maybe it's just a way to sieve out those that are serious from those that just want, a kind of a get-rich-quick scheme. If everything was so easy, then everybody's going to be doing it, and everybody's going to be making a lot of money out of it. It's going to be so comfortable. But reselling, being that it's a way of life, it's just for those that have said to themselves, come what may, I am ready to perform this service to humanity. Because if you are a reseller, you're actually performing a very major service to humanity. There are people out there in the world that do not have money to buy new stuff, and they depend on platforms like eBay to be able to clothe their kids. And you have to be there to provide those clothes that they can actually buy. I sell electronics, use computers on eBay. There are also a lot of people that cannot actually afford to buy new stuff. And they depend on people like, myself, people like yourself, if you also sell electronics, to go to the trenches, to look for these hardwares. bring them out, clean them up, in some cases fix them, put in new hardware like RAM sticks, hard drives, and offer them again to the market at very considerable cost that people with low income, low income household can actually buy. They can then buy these type tablets for their kids. They can buy these laptops for their personal use, to search for jobs. This circle goes on and on. So what I mean is, you as a retailer, you are actually performing a major service. And if you do not see it as such, I do not know what to say, but the moment I started seeing it like that, yes, money will be made in the process, but at the end of the day, it is you also performing your own part of service to humanity, and your ability to do it even when things are bad, when there's no money to be made, when eBay traffic is down, when people are not buying, your ability to continue to stay on, see different ways you can actually, render services. If computers are not selling, perhaps you want to sell clothing, you want to sell books, your ability to discover those sources where things are cheap, you getting them and offering it back to the market is a service. And the more you can do it, you are performing or you are fulfilling your own part of the assignments that you have been placed here to do. All right. At the end of the day, we are back to action. What that means is that we're going to be selling stuff, listing new items. I received a return, which I still have to open up and see if the condition of the item is good. And if it is, I'm going to go ahead and initiate a refund to the buyer. It was a PC that was sold for about 460 something euros. Yes, it was a bad one, but it is what it is. The buyer says he wasn't satisfied. He wanted certain things in the PC that the PC didn't have. But once again, I needed to send out the PC before the buyer could realize that, oh, I want this particular function and it's not there. Now I need to, just reverse the whole transaction. It is one of the things that we also have to deal with. But then I'm back full of motivation, renewed strength, renewed hope, hoping to make this thing work and continue to play our part to ensure that, yes, you guys are informed, because one of the service that we also give here when we make YouTube videos is, passing very, valuable information that will also go ahead to help somebody, motivate somebody, and even give you tips that will help your business, help you at whatever stage of life that you are on. I hope this video helps you. If it does, please go to the comment section, leave me a comment, click on the like button. Let's get the conversation going. Until I see you again in the next one. Peace. Mm-hmm.